Good afternoon, everyone. It's Danieal Roman out of New Jersey. And if you see behind me, you know who I am. I am the owner and operator of Daniela's Delicious Delights. So I am on here today to share something exciting that some of you may have heard about already, some may not. But there was a big announcement earlier this week. Emilio was a part of that. And our good friend and mentor out of Canada, Jim Hetherington, he is, part of this legacy project. He is an author. He has an author building system and the author legacy circle. So something is going down May 30th in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection, as they call it. It is going to be the Guinness World Records attempt. So if you've ever heard Emilio speak about it, he was part of this back in 2020 in Mississauga, Canada. And they broke a record for being one of the most authors signing a book simultaneously. So he has, if you know Emilio, you've heard him say it, you've seen the certificate. He's out there leveraging that, that title because it builds authority and influence. And I'm going to have Jim speak more about that in a minute. So again, this is going down May 30th in Philadelphia, and this is going to be exciting. And just to be a part of the Guinness, right there, I believe Jim shared the other day that there's no competition with the Guinness World Records. I mean, they are it. So to be a part of something like that, it's going to be epic, historic. So I am going to bring Jim on right now. Yay!
Hey.
And you know what? I mean, you're from Canada. I think this deserves. Whoop, hold on. Hold on. I got to do something for you. I'm going to do something for you, even though it's a little late. There we go. Yay! Oh, boy, that was so perfect, wasn't it?
That's awesome.
Anything can happen on a live. So welcome, right. Jim.
Thank you. It's great to connect with you. And I love your brand. You know, and obviously, I mean, you have given my wife some amazing tips. I mean, nobody makes eggplant like my wife in this area. I'm sure you would compete with her, but she makes an eggplant parmesan based on your tips and the things that you taught her. I'm telling you, it's just to die for.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember when you guys messaged me about that a while back, and I'm like, that's good. But hey, she's got skills. I can tell she's got skills.
She's got skills, but you just took them to that next level. I was like, oh my goodness, where has this been all my life?
That's awesome. So Jim, something exciting going down in Philadelphia.
Oh man. Yes, I'm really excited because it's kind of like having a Christmas present and sitting on it for a year and a half. It's been painful not to be able to really talk about this, to get it out there, but there's been so much work behind the scenes. Just navigating and negotiating with Guinness over this is been it's taken a lot of energy. But now we can finally talk about it. We can finally get it out there. And the more I talked about it with friends down in the Philly, New Jersey, New York area, it just made sense to do it down there. You know, it's your 250th anniversary this year, the Declaration of Independence, and that's where it all started. I mean, it was just in that area. In fact, recently I've had a conversation with a lady whose family is connected to the original Clarks from the Philly area, and the Clark's farm, I believe, is still on the outskirts of town, but they hosted some of the dignitaries that signed that Declaration of Independence. They stayed at their farm, like they were there. And so she's got all these stories and accounts of what it was like back then when they were writing this declaration and just crafting it then. And so that's why we just thought it's a no-brainer. We need to do it there. So we want to gather authors in the room, as you said, sign the same book simultaneously and break that record. So it's going to be a minimum of 130 people because that's what we need to break the record. The aspiration is 250 to align with your 250th anniversary. And I have no doubt the more people I talk to, they're like, I'm in. I got people from Texas. I got people from Canada. I got people from Florida. I got people from all over. They're just going, it's just a no-brainer. We want to be a part of this. And so I'm just really excited about it because this whole event is going to continue that legacy. It's going to continue that on. as authors, speakers, coaches, we all have a passion, right, to get our messages out, to get our stories out.
Right.
We've got so much lived experience that the world needs to hear. And so to put something like this together, it just absolutely makes sense. And to do it in Philly, right downtown in the old area, I just can't wait.
Yeah, that is an awesome spot. And I'm a Philly girl. I was born in Philly and, from Philly. I grew up even, in New Jersey, but always on the Philly side because that's where my family was. So I love Philly. And let me ask you something, Jim. So to us, it's exciting, right? Emilio did it. Many others did it. I didn't do it at that time. I had another commitment. I know you, I think we're traveling. So you weren't, able to be a part of it 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So when people hear that, it's like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't know. What's it really going to do for me? So what would you say to that?
Oh yeah, it's going to do so much, and we're actually focusing the entire event around that. Pre-event and post-event, and the day of the event is around how to leverage it, because that's really what we need to do. We need to learn how to leverage our stories. I mean, everybody's got amazing stories. So many people have written books. I've had conversations with people around this event that go, I've written 4 or 5 books. Like, how can I monetize it? How can I get a good ROI on what I'm doing? I give them some value, and then I say, just come to the day. Come to the day, because that's what it's going to be all about, is teaching it. And there's a buzz around, with a lot of authors, speakers, and coaches. They're all kind of, everybody's like, okay, how do we position? How do we rally? How do we get the thing? How do we go to that next level? It's estimated that out of the 8 billion people on the planet, at any given time, there can be upwards of 2 billion people on social media platforms, various platforms. So 2 billion people, that's almost 20% of the planet is online, virtually doing something. So for us to get ahead of that, to get the noise, we need to learn how to leverage it. And, to take Emilio as a perfect example, he was part of this event, and he's learned how to leverage that by using those things. So it's all of the extraordinary things that we do, capturing them, creating media assets so that we can leverage those and use those up. I'll give you an example. I co-wrote a book with Brian Tracy. Most people know who Brian Tracy is, one of the greatest sales speakers in the world. And I think he's over 100 books himself. I know the last time I heard he was like 96 books, but I'm pretty sure he's over the 100 book mark now. And he's just phenomenal. So I co-authored a book with him, and I had a picture of it, and I reposted it 5 years later, and signed a client out of that. Just posting an older picture. So that's how you leverage it. Emilio's on the right track, using those media assets, bringing them back up. And you said at the beginning that there's no competition for Guinness. Guinness is in a class of its own when it comes to records keeping and doing this stuff. They've seen some phenomenal things over the years, and people are always challenging records and introducing new records. And they produce book after book with all of these records in there. So to be a part of that is just exciting and fun in itself. To have a certificate to remember the day and time is just incredible. But then to learn how to leverage it, that's taking it to the next level. And that's really what we want to focus on. That's what we want to create through this event, is have opportunities for people to create media assets. And by that, I mean having staged areas where they can position themselves with their book, with the book that we're building out of this, because we're writing a book for this event so that people are actually part of the historic book that they're going to be citing. So they get opportunities to get pictures and get videographs and all that other stuff with it. And then we're going to share ways to leverage those things. So that's why you need to be there, because you're really going to learn how to take it to the next level. We're working really hard, with the people that we bring into the room in terms of sponsorships and so on. Because they are on the cutting edge of sharing ideas, sharing thoughts. And so those are the kind of people that we want to bring in there. So this room is, you think about it, the minimum 130 people to break the record, aspiration of 250 people that are leaders, that are movers, that are shakers, that are wanting to go to that next level. Those are the kind of rooms that you want to be in, because as you get into those kind of rooms with people that are operating at their best, it causes you to rise up to become your best. And that's what we want to create.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And, like Emilio says, That's opened a lot of doors for him, just saying it's like when you tell people you have a book, right? Like you wrote a book or you're a part of a book, that it's the wow factor. It's like, wow, you're in a book or you wrote a book. And to say that you're a part of Guinness World Records, if anyone, if you're from, it doesn't matter where you're from, right? It's a worldwide thing. You've heard of Guinness World Records. So that by itself is like, wow. And that shows that, if you go to that level to even join and do this attempt, it shows like you take risk, right? It's like, you know what, I'm going to go for it, whether we, and it's expected to beat it, right? But you never know, it's an attempt. But at least you took that risk, and share with people now about the chapter, because you may not be you don't have to be an author to be a part of this, but you will become an author by doing this.
Yes. No, this is perfect for people that, I mean, I've been having conversations with groups that aren't authors yet. And this is a perfect way for them to get published, to have, many of them are poets and they're writing short poetry and they want to get them published. This is perfect. Let's bring one of your pieces out there. Let's publish and get you as a published author. So whether you are an author, you're considering to be an author, you're working on being an author, it's for you if you want to go to that next level, because again, what we're talking about here and what we're going to be doing is really how to leverage that, because it's great. I teach my clients all the time that it's great to write a book, but you need to consider what you want that book to do for you. And that's what we want to address, is what is that book going to do for us? How can we leverage that? How can we leverage what we put in there? I'm going to be taking people through a couple of exercises. We're going to be sharing these things of how they can create 30 days of content in the matter of 5 minutes. I'm going to take people through it without the assistance of AI, using this real intelligence to create days worth of content from your stuff already, stuff you've already written, stuff that you already know, that you're already an expert about. That's what we're going to be teaching people how to leverage. So so whether you're an author or want to be author, this is for you.
Yeah. And now, is it this long chapter? It's so difficult to do and be a part of, or explain that.
Yes, we wanted to make it as simple as possible. People find it really challenging, like to write a book with 45 to 65,000 words. That's one thing. To write a chapter with maybe a couple thousand to 4,000, that's still challenging for some people. So we said, let's make it as simple as possible. So here's the chapter. It's a form that we've created. You've got a form. You put the title, the subtitle, what you want to, and then a quote. It could be a famous quote. It could be an original quote, or it could be a short piece of poetry that you've written. And then 150 to 200 words of why people should find that valuable. What lessons can people learn? Why is that important? What can they learn from that? 5 years from now, if they read that, what value is it going to add to them? So 150 to 200 words. And then a brief bio of who you are, who you serve, what you do, and your contact information. And that's it. So it literally takes under 5 minutes. It's a form. You just fill it out, submit it. In fact, we got yours yesterday, didn't we?
Yes. And
how long did it take you?
Oh my goodness, literally less than 5 minutes. Yeah. Very simple. When people hear chapter, like you said, it's like, we do chapters in anthology. It's like 1,000 words. And this is not that. This is just something that means something to you, that, and like this is called a legacy project, right? So this is going to be part of your legacy. So what is important to you? For me, it was an old quote from my dad that he used to share with my brother and I growing up. And that is, God puts us together and we take us apart. So, that's pretty self-explanatory if you really look at it and think of it, right? But it's just that us as humans, God created us in his image, which is perfect. But we, going through life, take us apart, whether it's with addiction or just low self-esteem, or just, thinking we're not good enough. And, we have to change, our hair, as I sit here with blonde highlights. And,
or me with my white highlights.
Right? Hey, that's natural though. This is natural.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but we always think we have to change something, with the, plastic surgery, whatever it is, right? But, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, no, you know, we need to accept ourselves as God created us. It doesn't mean let's not do better, you know what I mean? But it just means the way we tear us apart, like people get,
That's right.
you know, so down on themselves and dig a hole, digging themselves into addiction and ruin their lives and the people around them. So that's basically, you know, what that whole quote was that my dad would share with us growing up to teach us, you know, how to navigate through life and how to, you know, do things. So that was mine.
That's
And, you know, again, like Jim said, it can be that a personal or a famous quote. And what does that mean? That's it.
Yeah, yeah. So look at that. You know, I mean, you just shared 200 or 300 words just on it right there. So that's how simple it
Mm-hmm.
is to do this, because
Mm-hmm.
we want it to be impactful, right? Think of your Constitution. You know, it's not this huge lengthy thing, but it took them a while to craft the words exactly the way they wanted it, and then sign it. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted impactful words to be put on a page where people could autograph, and that's the book. So that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people are going to reflect on it and say, I was there on the 250th anniversary, breaking, you know, making a Guinness World Records attempt in a room with 150, 250 authors and speakers and coaches and movers and shakers that really wanted to make a difference with it. I was there in that moment, and that's what we really want to do. Yes, that deserves you.
That is
Yeah.
exciting. Like when you listen to how you're, you know, presenting it, I mean, why wouldn't someone do this, right? And why wouldn't you add that to your resume as like author? Like
Oh,
we
yeah.
award-winning authors, award-winning speakers, entrepreneurs, and you know, business. And then, hey, I'm a Guinness World Record holder. I mean,
That's
oh
right. Part of a Guinness World Records. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Yes.
yeah. So how now? I'm gonna have. I know Amelia will be dropping links in the comments,
Mhm.
but you know, people can reach out to you obviously for more information. You have different levels. You know, you can you know share about all that. They can jump on a call with you. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you, Jim?
So the best way for people to get a hold of me is just go to jimh360.com, and that's my social media platform. That's my hub. That's got all my contact details right there. In fact, they could schedule a little 30-minute call with me right from there if they wanted to, and then I'm happy to get on a conversation with them and see. So you know, to your point, they can come in and just be part of the day, part of the book. And
Mhm.
then obviously we want to put a VIP level together. So the night before, we're going to have a gathering with the sponsors, with the leaders, with the VIP people, because this is going to be a good room to be in and network and connecting with. And so we want to have these special moments. And then, you know, the day of, have these opportunities for these different media assets. So there's different ways that people can play. There's still a couple sponsorships open as well, which will get you in front of these people on stages for a few minutes to talk and you know, be a part of the event at a different level. So there's still some opportunities there. So I'm happy to connect with them. And then obviously, like you say, you know, you guys put your link in there and get people to connect with you guys to learn about it as well. And so either way, I'd love to hear from them, whether you guys connect with them or they connect with me. Either way, I'm happy to.
Yeah, boy, this is exciting, Jim. I can't wait. We're like a little over 2 months away, I believe. We're at
Yeah.
the beginning of March, April, May. Yeah, over 2 months, a little bit. We will be in Philly. We will be making history. And Emilio, he'll be going for it for the second time. That's awesome. We have a couple of repeated people like Patrick Rude. He has, you know, been out there with Emilio in Canada before, and so
Yeah.
many others. And I know the new people. I know Steve Moore. He submitted his chapter. He's excited. He's a veteran, you know, veteran friend of ours. So
Great.
this is exciting.
It
So
is.
just follow the link. Yeah, click the link that Emilio's dropping in the Facebook. We're going to drop Jim's information, jimh360.com, correct?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So any parting words, anything you want to say to somebody that's like, yeah, sounds good, but they're still kind of on the fence. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you know, it's think back of our lives. I think most of us can think of a moment where we said to ourselves, maybe next time, or I'm not quite sure if that's me. And then when the moment passed, you went, wait a second, I should have done that. Don't let this event be one of those things. It's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity. the 250th anniversary only comes around once. The opportunity to be in Philly, to be a part of this records attempt is only going to happen once. And you're going to be able to look back at it a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, and say, I was there in the moment of the 250th year, in the city where it all began, and making history at a whole new level. So that's what I want to encourage people with, is to not let the opportunity go by. It's a once in a lifetime.
Yeah, that's it. And you know what? I mean, I'd be sold on that if I wasn't already sold, because I'm already sold on it. But and also, like we had said, if you're not an author, here's your opportunity to get your foot in the door and just be an author with this. And then, boy, what's going to happen after that?
Yeah. Nothing could be simpler. Nothing could be simpler than getting into this book, becoming a published author, becoming a second or third or 10th time author. Nothing could be simpler, but the impact from it is going to be lasting.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Jim. I'm excited. You know, people, please reach out, click the link that Emilio dropped, or connect with Jim. However you do it, like Jim said, it doesn't matter. Just get there, because you won't regret it when you see the hype that's going to be happening that weekend after, when things are posted and we're holding the Guinness World Records. And you don't want to have regrets. So just do it.
That's right.
All right, Jim.
Love it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Guys.
Love it.